Hey everyone, welcome back in the kitchen where today I am beyond excited. Really excited. Today we're going to be frying chicken. I don't know why that excites me so much. Well, one of the reasons is, to be perfectly honest, I love fried chicken. I never eat fried chicken, and for all the people out there that have ever worked with me, those of you who know me, have very rarely seen me eat something like fried chicken. I don't usually eat like this, but I'm having a craving. I was talking with a friend the other day. Well, we were texting, and we were talking about what was on the menu for this weekend, and I threw out this idea, and it's been stuck in my head ever since. So today, we are going to fry chicken. I want to go over some simple basics about frying chicken. Oh, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done. Nice and crispy, juicy. Oh, so excited. Here we go. Here we go. So, first of all, I took all the chicken. The reason why there's not chicken laying out here, it has been soaking in buttermilk for the last few hours. Is that necessary when frying chicken? No, but it definitely adds to the flavor. It tenderizes the meat, makes it even more juicy, makes the batter even more crispy. It's a beautiful thing. So what I've done so far, and the reason why I didn't show you is because I wanted to let it sit for a few hours. I took the chicken that we're going to be frying. I've got drumsticks and chicken thighs. Tossed with a little salt and pepper directly on the chicken. And then I dumped in, that's a whole quart of buttermilk. And all that's in there is the chicken and some salt and pepper, and that's it. Wrapped it up, put it in the fridge, and it has been in there I'd say about 3 hours now. Next step is we're going to batter it up. And the longer it sits in the buttermilk, the more the meat breaks down and the more tender it gets and the more it tenderizes. So you'll see recipes out there if you look up other recipes for buttermilk fried chicken that have them in the buttermilk for 6, 8, 10 hours. Some people even do it overnight. I think 3 to 5 hours is more than enough for what I'm after. And I'm really excited for how it's going to come out. The next thing we're going to do, and I want to do this together so you can see it, is we're going to make our flour batter. And you only need a few things. Now, the nice thing about making a recipe like this is you can mix and match the seasonings that you want to add. I don't think you need to add too much. There are recipes out there where there's a whole slew of things thrown into flour, and there's even some that use breadcrumbs, and there's potato chip flakes and all that. Simple, easy, basic. It's all we need to make it fantastic. All I've got right here is some salt and pepper. Kosher salt and ground black pepper. I've got a quarter of a teaspoon of the ground black pepper, a teaspoon of kosher salt. I've also got a heaping teaspoon of onion powder, because if you've been watching these videos, you know I love onion powder. And another personal favorite, garlic powder, so we'll throw in a teaspoon of that. And lastly, this is paprika. It's maybe not something that you would think to add to a recipe like this, but nice smoky paprika has a great flavor. It gives a great color. It helps crisp up everything. It's really fun to add when you're doing something like fried chicken. So I went ahead and put a teaspoon of that in there as well. And I'm just mixing this in. This is 2 cups of flour, by the way, because I've got a lot of chicken here. So I mixed in just those few seasonings in 2 cups of flour. And since this chicken has been sitting for the past few hours, all I'm going to do is, well, number 1, make a mess. And number 2, I'm going to dip the chicken directly in. Look at this. Oh. Look at that. That is already just such a beautiful sight. Just wiping off the excess. I don't need any excess liquid. Put the chicken right in there and just get it everywhere. One hand wet, one hand dry. You start mixing that up and you really have a mess on your hands. Have a mess on your hands. I didn't mean for that to be that way, but it's true. You have a mess on your hands and you will end up with a mess everywhere. But that's all I need to do. I'm I'm going to tap off the extra because I don't need it. Extra flour in the oil is just going to make a mess. And we are going to keep doing this until we get all the pieces. Now, I'm not really a big fan of the excess skin on the chicken. I know when you're eating fried chicken, it's great to have that crispy exterior. You can still get it without the skin on there. So if there are people out there, like myself, who would steer away from something like this because you don't want to eat the skin, you can remove it. It's still going to have a great flavor. It's still going to be nice and crispy, just not going to be as thick. So what I did to show you was the drumsticks, they have the skin on them. The chicken thighs do not. So we'll take a look at the end at the difference. But for now, let's just get all these nicely battered. Oh, see, broke my own rule. Ah. I got the wet hand all stuck in the flour, and now I've got goop. But that's all right, because it's still fun. Let's get all these battered up, and then we get to fry them. So while I'm doing this, take a moment, if you haven't already done so, maybe subscribe to this channel. That would be much appreciated. Make sure your notifications are turned on so you know when we're cooking. Every Wednesday and Sunday, you'll find something new and different. So yeah, maybe click that subscribe button. Give me just a moment or two, and I'll have all this chicken ready to go. So if you might have noticed, I have got a mess going on here. I love that. It's one of my favorite parts to doing something like this. It's fun and it's messy. But as you can see, got the drumsticks all done. I'm working on these chicken thighs. And again, I'm putting it in the flour and getting it all over. And then I'm shaking it off. Because the more pieces of chicken you put in your flour, the more the flour turns into this, and the more it clumps up, and you don't need all that excess clumping. Okay? It's not what you're after. That does not make beautiful pieces of fried chicken. The other thing I've got going on right behind me, see that big, beautiful blue Dutch oven pot there? That is full of a gallon of oil. Vegetable oil is what I'm using. You can use canola oil, peanut oil, whatever you'd like. We are going to use vegetable oil today, and I've got it turned on because that's going to take a little while to heat up, and we want to get that up to, it's gooey. We want to get that up to about 325, 350 degrees before we drop this chicken in there. But now all the chicken has been nicely floured. And if you take a look, you'll see all the flour, it's starting to turn like an orangey color, and it's starting to get this sort of goopy consistency. Believe it or not, that's on purpose. You let it get this pasty texture. You let it sit for a few minutes and let it get that pasty texture. That's where the crispy outside is going to come from. Okay, so we're going to let that sit for a few minutes. We're going to keep an eye on that oil and let it get good and hot, and then we're going to start frying chicken. But first, we have got to wash all this off. Whew, that's a mess right there, buddy. Okay, so we have got our oil nice and hot. And let's see, right now 325, 340, 340, perfect. So I'm going to lower this down about halfway. Once we get the temperature up there like that, lower the heat just a little bit. We're going to take our chicken and start dropping it in. Oh, you hear that? Oh, yeah. I'm going to put in one piece at a time. Now, I'm not just going to drop them in because, well, for safety, that's a hot. And that will burn when that grease pops. But also because I don't want these pieces to stick together. and cook together. I want them to do this all on their own. Ooh, that's a hot. All right. Gonna let that get started. Watch this heat. And if you haven't noticed, I have an apron on now because I've learned the hard way. Cooking stuff like this and wearing white, it's not so good. So try to protect as much as I can. There is not a lot to do in the first couple of minutes, but let this cook. Let it cook. Keep an eye on the temperature of your grease. Obviously you don't want it to go too low, but you also don't want it to get too hot, because it'll burn. And whew, man, is it horrible when that happens. Let's see, we're safe. We're in the 330s right now. Because naturally what's going to happen, as soon as you take the chicken and you add it to the hot oil, the temperature is going to go down a little bit because the chicken's really cool. You're adding something into that hot area. The temperature will go down. I don't want it to go down any lower. It won't, because I've got the heat up above medium. I don't want it to get too high, so I can just keep an eye so it doesn't burn. Make sure these pieces move around a little bit. The first sign that chicken is done and or on its way to being done, it will start to float. As it cooks, it will start to float. It's really cool to watch. See what we got going on there? Oh yeah, that's gonna be beautiful. That's such a cool smell. It's an awesome sound, but it's a great smell. Grease cooking like that when the frying is happening. Oh, I love it. But man, funny story. 20 some odd years ago, living with some roommates, everybody wanted chicken parmesan for dinner. And they wanted the chicken fried. And of course they all looked to me because I was the only one of us in the restaurant business, so I went ahead and agreed to do it. I put my oil on the stove and turned it on, and while the oil was heating up, I started to prep all the chicken and get it ready. Thought my timing was perfect, turned around, didn't check the temp, dropped in the chicken, and it went whack, and was black in seconds. I had to dump all that out and start over. Moral of the story, watch your temperature. Fantastic. Fantastic. How cool is that sound? See how neat that looks? There is so much going on in there. Look at this color. Look at this. Look how beautiful that looks. Please do not let that fool you. Those pieces of chicken are not done. That's going to take a little while. Oh, I love that sizzle. Let's go ahead and do a final temperature check. Oh, look at that beautiful color. Oh, wow. See that? Has that nice dark golden brown. Between frying grease and paprika, we get a beautiful color. Oh, yes. We are at 171. So our temperature is perfect. I'm going to take these out, let them sit on a paper towel, just absorb up all that grease, and let the crispiness happen. Takes a moment. Oh, these are gorgeous. Look at these pieces. Oh, they're beautiful. I'm going to let them sit for a moment or two on a paper towel and go right in. Let's keep going. Now these are the skinless chicken thighs. And at the end, we'll go ahead and look at the difference in appearance between chicken fried with skin on it and without. There we go. Got one drumstick left, and I know we've got space. So let's just drop you in there. Now, while these are cooking, if you haven't noticed, I went ahead and turned the oven on, and I have it really, really low, 175. So I'm going to take these drumsticks that are already cooked, put them on a pan on a wire rack, and put them in the oven on a really low temp, 150, 175. That way they'll stay nice and hot while these are cooking. That temp is so low, it won't dry out the chicken, but it also won't let it get cold. Who wants cold chicken? Well, tomorrow. Fried chicken the day after, cold, oh, that's fantastic. But when it's freshly made, it needs to be nice and hot. So we'll keep these in the oven and let those cook. Let's take a look at this next batch. Let's see where we are, temperature-wise, color. You see that? Look how beautiful that is. And you see, this is a skinless piece, but it still crisps up beautifully. It's got a great look to it. It doesn't look any different than a piece that's got skin on it. All right, so we are right now 147. So just a few more minutes. Let's check that drumstick. A few more minutes and this will be ready to come out. Really want to be careful with fried chicken because you can get a false reading very easily. You stick the thermometer in, you hit the bone, next thing you know, you think you're cooked. And the bone's nice and hot, but the meat isn't. So you really want to make sure. I think it is safe to say we are about there. Oh yeah. Beautiful golden brown color. Let's give that a quick test. Oh yeah. Oh yes. 168. Perfect. Look how gorgeous these came out. Well, these will sit on the paper towel as well for a few minutes, maybe even a little bit longer. These pieces are a little bigger. Let them drain off this excess grease. And we can plate this up. Oh, fantastic. Oh, I love the way this came out. Oh, I love fried chicken. Look at these. Now my school of thought, my mindset is to always, I want to present the entree portion of whatever dinner is. If you haven't noticed, we've been talking about plating every episode and I'm harping on aesthetics all the time. I love that wow factor when it hits the table in people's eyes. So something like this, I like to stack it up, make some height, and just have the chicken on a plate by itself and bring it to the table. And whether it's greens or salads or potatoes, French fries, whatever is going to be the side dish, whatever is going to accompany this chicken, I want it to sit to the side because I want the chicken to take over. So I like to stack it up on a plate and ladies and gentlemen, the chicken, you saw me fry it, and then I put the other pieces in the oven to keep them nice and hot. It worked. I know. Wait a minute. Why is he turning the drumsticks to face in different directions? I'm building a tower. And I'm trying to do it without burning my hands. Huh? Look at that. That is a thing of beauty right there. Crispy, crispy, crispy. buttermilk fried chicken. Wow, I love it. Look how beautiful those pieces came out. And those are the ones without the skin on them. The drumsticks on the bottom with the skin on, no difference. Just a thing of beauty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this week. Wow, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you make this chicken. I know you're going to love it, because how can you not love fried chicken? I mean, I love fried chicken. You're going to love this. Please give it a try. Shoot me a comment. Let me know how it comes out. If you have not already done so yet, subscribe to this channel. Make sure your notifications are turned on so you can follow along with us. Give the video a thumbs up. You got to thumb up chicken. Fried chicken. Oh, I'm so excited. You folks have a great week. Share this video with all your friends and neighbors. I'll see you in a few days. Take care. Bye-bye.